How many parts of the Papa Pilko and the Binrats are there?
Oh, we are tooth 6.
Tooth six.
Tooth 6.
Correct.
Mr. Tom and Mr. Cyrus, how you guys going?
Oh, pretty bloody good. I've got a nice full belly. Just had a nice feed, and I'm filling it up with a couple more beautiful young Henrys here. Thank you very much, boys.
Podcast combers.
How are you guys going? All right?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We've had a big fucking day. Like up early. We opened up the rooftop on the Lansdowne.
Really?
Oh, congratulations,
boys.
Thank you. Yeah.
Cheers to that.
It was cheers. I need to get a bevy, but it's
Yeah. Pour yourself a nice stiff one. You deserve
I'll
it.
tell you what, that's a very stiff drink.
Yeah,
That is.
cheers.
Cheers.
Is it as stiff with that as having no soda in it?
Yeah, so it's just got a splash.
Better to have
It's
a
Jack Daniel's
stiff drink
and
than a
ice.
not.
It's a Jack Daniels with a schooner of Jack Daniels with a splash of soda. So
Lemmy would be happy.
Yeah, as this podcast falls off the rails going forward.
yeah. We need to give it. So we had a big day. I was up at like 5:45. We've both been waking up early in the last week when you got something ahead of you. Took it to my daughter to school. Jakey went for a little run, whatever. We took our kids to school. Came down here. I did the usual.
I did not go for a run this morning.
Yeah, I was just about to interrupt you there.
No. I went to a
this
run.
morning.
I went to a run yesterday. This morning, I woke up in a haze of
running for a piss.
cocaine and fucking Ritalin haze.
You couldn't. Yeah, well, you can't fucking.
I think I was in the same boat as you this morning there, Jake.
I took my kid to school, but I was
Don't
just,
say that.
Yeah.
Well, I
Took
could have
an
taken
Uber.
by a horse.
Horse and car.
I wonder if you can still get pulled over for that.
No chance.
I
Fucking
was-
no. I dare a cop to pull you over for that. I was wouldn't know what to do.
I was so
Are you
having
pissed riding this horse? Fucking damn right I am.
Yeah, show me the law that says like I can't. I just murdered a rabbit as well. Is that illegal?
Which cowboy doesn't ride his horse pissed?
Of course I'm hammered. That's why I'm riding a horse.
yeah. Backwards.
You fucking idiot. What sort of stupid line of questioning is this? This is entrapment, goddammit.
You're making up the law.
That's what they do, though.
Yeah, I know. It's all the rage at the moment, it seems, isn't it? Fucking dogs.
How are you guys feeling about the fact that you're not allowed to do certain things?
Well, it's been pretty boring, to say the least, but it's been great. I've just been drinking a lot. And waking up in the morning and getting myself a nice Mary's hangover feed delivery. Thank you, boys.
Oh, sick.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I don't even live
Stacking
in
on
the
a few
delivery zone.
kilos.
I can't even get it.
Class.
And what? So I
You
just
can't
spoke to
get it
some
at
other
your house,
friends
huh?
that no, I can't get it.
I get it all the time. I get delivery and I order mash and gravy to fuck the cunts over. And I text my team and I go, I'm going to get 2 double Marys of bacon, 2 cheeseburgers for the kids, fucking whole chicken, 2 mash and gravies, Coca-Cola, and the owner goes through a mash and gravy. And then the drivers turn up like, what is this? I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with
You
you?
just gotta argue it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck you.
I can't get enough of those chicken butts.
Fuck, they're good. Huh?
Yeah. And then I'm so thirsty after it.
The parsnip.
I look like a cat sphincter after I've eaten a box of
parsnips
chicken
nose.
butts.
A what sphincter?
A cat sphincter.
We used to
Sphincter
say-
on the couch.
Really dried out and crispy.
Old couch
I
in
might need to take that out.
It's like
How
this old
rude.
couch in EastEnders when she's smoking a cigarette. It's like fucking mine looks like a cat's anus.
Yeah.
Also, my cat's anus is remarkably hydrated by the amount of time it spends licking it. It's not dried out. It's the most moist part of my outside of its nose.
What an amazing skill to have.
Yeah, fuck.
If I could lick my own anus, I'll tell you what.
Well, one of my friends.
What's the word for something being licked off the face of the earth?
I've eroded my own asshole.
Global warming.
yeah. I don't think you call it a Jurassic asshole. It used to exist.
It's petrified.
5 minutes into the podcast, and here we are, boys. Petrified assholes.
Should we talk about something normal?
Yeah, sure.
Should we talk about something normal?
Rabel's a good thing.
No.
We're very aware of what we'll get there anyway. So, fucking
Segue.
Papa Pilko. No, well, segue to the normal way, I suppose. Jake normally does this, to be fair. But Papa Pilko. So, like, what has this done to sort of like shit all over the path you were on, what would have you been doing now? Has it made any difference? Like in terms of
What we would have been doing now,
like
not now, but tomorrow would be
well,
on
yeah,
that
well,
stage with 300 people.
But in the last 3 months, yeah. So tomorrow you had a show booked.
We were
At
booked
the Lens,
to
yeah?
launch a vinyl tomorrow.
Because I remember seeing the sea of cancellations coming through the calendar.
Yeah, we
Because
saw that,
it started to trickle. It'd be like couple cancelled, then it was like they're fucking everything's cancelled. Everything's cancelled.
Yeah.
So you were here tomorrow
The first
night.
few weeks were like dark as fuck, but I know it's getting better now. So
What do you mean by dark? Where did you go?
Dark
into
place.
the dark places.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
my
but
mind.
what is that? But what does that dark place look like to you? Is what I'm asking.
Describe your dark place, Bong.
Oh, it's just like same as everyone else. You just feel hopeless. There's like nothing to do. You can't do anything about it. Everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah. And some people sort of, like laugh in the face of sadness. Or I think for us, it was a few dark days, and then very quickly we sort of saw a positivity in the reset that had happened. So talking about our industry specifically, hospitality, like a reset that happened to an industry that was like meandering down a fucking boring path to nowhere, really, and that it's made everyone sort of stop. Like, some people will disappear, some people will fuck off, some people will start within this, some people reimagine.
Some people should disappear, and some
Yeah, exactly.
people should fuck
Well, that was my
Correct.
point.
Yeah.
That's my point. But it made it. We were really positive in the reimagination of what it means to be in hospitality now. Like providing fucking community, providing good times, caring about the people that come in. It comes down to we break it down to the fundamentals of why we started doing this in the first place. Like as 18-year-olds working in it, and as 27, 28-year-olds when we started Mary's. Oh no, fuck, 32-year-olds.
No, we started dreaming it up together at that age, though.
Yeah.
Well, it's given you guys everyone a bit of an opportunity to get creative again, in so many different ways, and it's kind of it's given people what's the word I'm looking for?
Insight.
More options and just all these kind of lives and all these kind of things. And
But
I mean,
options perhaps, but
It's-
which creates. It's like I was the Netflix analogy. When you got 1,000 things to watch, you don't watch fucking anything.
Yeah, that's right.
When you've got like
Exactly.
three, when you go to that log cabin in the wherever, you got 3 videos to watch. You watch them all once, and it's the greatest thing you've ever done. Like you enjoy it so much more.
That'd be Woodstock 69 for me, over and over and over again.
Yes, yeah.
It was the first set of titties I ever saw was on Woodstock 69 on the VHS, and there was no looking back. I said I want to play rock and roll, and I want to be indulged in women and fucking alcohol, and I am, and I'm really living up to my dream, which is fantastic. So
And so COVID hasn't shat on that dream, I wouldn't imagine.
no. I wake up every morning and I chuck on a bit of Motorhead and it just gives me that strength to sort of, you put on your leathers and you walk out the fucking front door and you always feel like a rock star. And I do anyway. So
Well,
and you chuck on your bluey, your
Yeah.
bluey and your stubbies, and you go out and you say, "I'm Jake Smythe and this is what I'm here to do."
life is
whether
going
you're
to be made on my fucking terms.
That's right.
100%. I feel like, and I agree with you. Dark places are also beautiful places. I'm interested in knowing why I asked that question is because dark places aren't negative places to me. Like dark places are places that you can go and find immense comfort because they force you to really come to terms with what you're about, and you can be surrounded by negativity and not be in a dark place. You can be in a great place and surrounded by my negativity, or you can be in an emotionally fucking spare place where there's a lot of doubt and fear, but also be confronted with the idea that in the worst of moments, there is this continual drive of optimism that actually is very common throughout humanity. Like most individuals thrive in these circumstances. Some people fucking really fall over, but
Would you say most?
I would. I think that's the story of humanity. Like the fact we are where we are. Like the history of humanity is dark, and unpleasant and uncomfortable. It's a story of great fucking despair and hopelessness, and yet here we are with a more positive story to tell.
I would say few,
and for the future,
thrive.
constantly.
I would say few thrive. A lot of people follow.
Some crumble.
Yeah, and some crumble. I think you could almost separate into thirds.
But even those people who are following, they're following something of worth, and they're ingesting that and taking that as their own worth. Whether they have the internal drive to actually create beauty out of suffering, people can
thriving in the sense of evolution in any sense.
Yeah. I'm like, I agree with you. Like some people, that through the hardest conflict that's imaginable, they can create beauty and derive beauty from it. And a lot of people can find solace and follow that. Whether that, I agree with you. Most people don't thrive, but the vast majority of us can at least engage with somebody who is. Yeah. There's a tendency to. The vast majority of us is to look for the fucking better angels rather than just go, yeah, you're right, everyone's fucked. And the whole thing is fucked and we're just going to fall off a cliff and we're all going to...
It only takes a matter of 2 weeks to see a little bit of fucking light at the end of the tunnel, and especially playing music and working in hospitality or whatever, there's always that creative drive that you have and writing songs. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have written songs about everything that's going on in the world at the moment through COVID and this horrible race problem that we've got at the moment, which is a very delicate subject.
It's not delicate. I mean, it's very clear. Oh well, I don't know if you think it's delicate.
I think it's quite clear, but you know what I mean.
I know that it's fraught with uncomfortability with the 4 white men talking about issues of race. That's probably uncomfortable, but what's undeniable is the fact that there is such an endemic fucking institutional injustice. Yeah. And it's not even a matter of an inequality; it's just injustice. Like there is obvious inequality throughout the world, but there's just injustice. It's unfair. It is not what everyone is taught, especially in Australia, and you know what, more so in Australia. I think that America is a far more real country in so many terms, because it is so, their history is so on the surface that it's tangible. If you're a black or a white person,
it's quite new.
Yeah, well, we're newer than them, but we haven't had that same debt. Like slavery is.
I read this thing by Spike Lee a couple of days ago. Which kind of summed it up, and something that we talk about a lot. Like and this can go to any level of life, like whether it's a band or fucking whatever. It's about if something's not built on solid foundation, it will always fall down, and that can come down to the simplicity of if we've not been truthful and honest with each other from day one about like what is my. For a band, for example, like I'm in it for the long haul, or like I'm enjoying it, but I actually have this other plan. Whatever the thing is, like if it's not built on solid foundation, which is a truth and an honesty, it will always fall down. And Spike Lee made that comment, he wrote a piece about, it was started in genocide, and it was like and white Europeans came over, and then they brought in slaves from Africa. And it's like there's always been this there's never a solid foundation about the history of that country. Yeah. And therefore it's never going to get anywhere. Like you can't
not until they reckon with their history.
Yeah, but and
we reckon with ours.
And how do you do it? Like I think in New Zealand probably one of the greatest examples.
And South Africa in the last 20 years, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission that they did, saw huge a fundamental change. It is still a country of abject inequality and huge issues, but there's something undeniable about the Truth and Reconciliation Commission was like it wasn't they the people in power, which were the newly elected black government, said we're not going to go and start prosecuting the people in the past. We want to reconcile it, and we want to talk about it, and we want to own it, and we want to understand it, and we want to move forward. Right. And there's so there wasn't a point. The point wasn't about recriminations. It was about reconciliation and actually owning every part of it, which is something beyond my fucking ken. I could not understand that thinking, but It's
there's
so
a lot of-
obvious
that
that
takes a
it's
lot of people to-
required. I feel like coronavirus, whilst it's, we've all been socially distancing and running out of toilet paper, there is a reason why we're seeing these massive riots and protests in the United States and bubbling up in Australia. It's causing, it's like this, it's. I heard this person talk about it. They said that moments like this bring the future from the future to the present. They make what was possible in the future, they bring it forward to such a degree. And I feel like that's what we're seeing. We're seeing like what eventually needed to happen in America is happening in
It's
like
accelerated.
just so accelerated.
Yep.
And they're really important discussions, like
Yep.
fundamentally the most important discussions. Like they're literally humans behaving together. The only reason we have a civilization. But it's an interesting fucking thing to well, that's the macro fucking look. But we've been really interested in talking to people about their micro experience of it, and understanding like what creativity is, what role it has, what the role of the artist, like what makes you guys wake up in the morning and kind of go, all right, I'm in lockdown. All I want to do is write music. Like, where does that come from?
Well, T-Bone.
I don't know. Probably when I was saying about the getting quite dark when the virus stuff happened, it usually ends up in creativity.
Yeah.
Maybe might have a few dark days, but then one day it's just like
You need an outlet.
something snaps
It's
in my head and
the outlet to get
I'll
rid
write
of it.
something or I'll take a photo or something.
Yeah, we've changed it up a bit in what we're doing. I've started playing a lot of guitar and doing a bit of writing at my house and stuff like that, which is great. Like I hadn't picked
Is
up
that
the
not
axe.
normal for you guys?
Well, yeah, no, but we usually
It's usually a
do it
group thing.
in a band, and we haven't been playing as often as we do. So I picked up the axes off the wall and plugged them in, and I said, "Fuck, this is great!" And that creative flow, I've just been doing it daily, and it's just and it's really coming out, and it's
We've only played together once in the last 10 weeks.
And how much before that would you, on an average, in a month, like would you?
we'll try to rehearse
Probably
every
4
week.
or 5 times a month.
Yeah.
Every week.
Every week we rehearse, and
Do a
then
rehearse or a writing sesh. Or
writing session.
Have you found it like? I think I find it. We probably both find it because we generally always work together. And then when you've got a moment of with an interview or a meeting or talking with booze companies with contract, when you're left on your own, like it makes you really think more about who you are, what you want out of it. And as I imagine, like your band is sort of fairly famous for there's a lot of you, and if you always play together, like is that idea of you sort of creating separately? Is that like have you been discussing that over WhatsApp or phone calls or whatever, or is it something you've not really spoken about, but you've been thinking about different directions or whatever? Like just that idea of how does it all come together? You've all spent some time alone, which makes you think about who you are, what the future holds, whatever, and how you bring that back. How do you bring that back together? Because you're a big fucking band, like
Yeah.
6 people, a 6-person band's
Yeah, I
fucking
think
huge.
I think with our band, we've been together since, we were 15, and we've always been,
Fuck.
a group and
That's
a
crazy.
a
I
bunch
didn't know
of
that.
brothers, and it's sort of something that we've always done
So there's
together.
something
And
there
it's-
that's-
and we're a gang, we're always together. We always do things together,
Yeah.
and that's actually created our style of writing and also our style of music. It's because it's the way that we do it together.
Yeah.
I mean,
How did you guys
I've got
meet?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. This
How'd
band it's not
But we have
too serious like that.
it's not even serious. Like that's a perfect answer. Like we think the same, and I've got old friends who I grew up with, and I don't see often at all anymore. Like sometimes it's like you are removed, and you come back. You're like, what did you think about it? What do you think about it?
Yeah,
it's
yep.
like we thought the same fucking thing about it.
Yeah.
Like it's like we kind of it's a beautiful moment. You come back and you're like, actually, I thought like it's just all just like slotted in straight away again. Like that's fucking cool. Like that's fucking amazing. I just wanted to ask because it's
Yeah, it's pretty much like that.
yeah.
We can
we
can
slot
go
in
away
pretty-
for weeks at a time and come back. Like we rehearsed the other night, and it was like
Sorry.
nothing
sorry.
changed.
I'll just have a wee bit of that
What'd
Jack
you-
Daniels. Thank you
We
very
didn't
much.
have a
some
large
ice?
amount of that.
Yeah.
Do you want ice?
Would you like some ice?
I'll have just a whisker of ice. Thank you very much.
From
I'll throw it in
from
from
an
my
ice
side.
spot.
you
Sponsor, 0
COVID,
degrees.
with your fucking COVID fingers.
1.5 meter ice.
Where did you go? So you're 15 years old. Where are you, boys?
15 was
I'm
a little bit of
29.
a Cyrus exaggeration.
No, not really. Oh, look at that.
It was
Look at that.
it was Lord of Rice. I bet you said, like some
what that
fucking
is?
bar in Los Angeles pays a fortune for that.
That
They
is
did
a
it on
piece of
purpose.
art. I don't know if the cameras are picking this bloody thing up.
we got these special glasses made from a headmaster from Australia, and
JD
we just pour the whiskey over, the ice, and then you
Over
make the
the
drink
ice.
around the ice. It's perfectly cold.
And then it comes back through the ice.
you're you're perfect fuck.
You were one with the ice.
That guy's a perfect fuckwit. Whoever that accent I was just doing.
I was going to say that accent was fabulous.
It was a fabulous version of a perfect fuckwit.
Jake Daniels
So who did you? So
instead of Jake Smythe.
yeah. So you're not 15. You
No, well,
Well, maybe
How old?
Cyrus.
well, really.
Who did you
So
guys meet?
we
I've known most of the guys for a lot longer than
from
me,
school. So Pablo,
and where's school?
Glen Ian Rudolph Steiner School is where we went.
Glen what?
Glen Ian Rudolph
Where's that?
Steiner.
Where's Glen Ian?
So it's in Middle Cove.
Where's the fuck am I?
So it's near.
like Middle Harbour.
No, it's not. It's near Castle Crag.
Where's Castle Craig?
Fuck. You just
Give
said
names some
places
names
I've
I
known.
know in
So-
Sydney, please.
So you know, like
It's near Chatswood.
kind of near. Chatswood.
Okay.
Kind of.
Okay.
A little bit.
Yeah.
All right. And there's a Rudolph Steiner school there.
There's a Steiner School. Yeah, it's
and
fantastic.
did you go 0 to 12 there? Like
No,
prep
no,
to
I
12?
dropped out.
You know what? You didn't drop out.
No.
You chose a different path.
Yeah, I rocked. there was a few things that happened when I turned 13.
Like what?
Well, I played one of the school talent quests, and I was playing guitar then, and I played Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water, and then
Papa
Kind
was
of-
born.
yeah, and
Papa
I
was
said, "Oh, the stage! How fantastic! How fantastic is this?"
Right. This is your birth
And
moment.
I always had that feeling that that's something I needed to do. But once I got up there, I was like, oh, wow, this is really great. And then, school was sort of, education was just kind of, fuzzy. Because I was so much more interested in rock and roll, women, and skateboarding.
13?
Oh, shit, yeah, mate. I used to cut holes in my trouser pockets and get wristies in maths class. Sorry, Mum.
From who? The teacher?
No, yeah, I did have a crush on one of the teachers. Turns out she liked the women, but I used to have those kind of thoughts in my head. No, but this kind of happened more in
Steiner
year
schools, eh?
8, year 9. I started early. I was blossoming fucking fabulously like it.
So you were getting hand jobs from students
Yes, yeah.
at math class? Oh,
And my dad's a maths teacher, and I don't know a fucking thing. And
He's not a math teacher.
Yeah, he is.
He is Carl.
Big shout out to Carl.
Shout out to Carl Pilko.
Yeah, so I don't know. I might have to take that out if Mum found out about that. I'd be
Fuck
backhanded.
that.
Yeah, no.
Hey, and take this the right way. Fuck your mum. That's bullshit. You're leaving it in. What are you gonna do?
Podcast gold.
So anyway,
yeah.
and then
So,
we met
yes.
the boys have always, Pablo and Manito mainly, I've always hung out with them from year 3.
Yeah, same school.
And
Okay.
they were 1 year above me, but we were always mates, and they kind of put me under their wing, and I always like hanging out with the
You
old.
don't seem like a man who needs a wing to be put over them. Did you need a
He
wing?
does because he breaks them all the
Yeah,
time.
Yeah. Did you need a? But did you need
That
a
one
wing
time
when
that
you were
me
a
and
kid?
Wade had a punch up at bloody Pabs' Bucks, and I
Yeah,
broke my wing.
Wade, our producer.
Wade Kieran.
Yeah,
Wade
yeah,
Kieran,
bloody
do you know the
legend.
man? Everyone knows
I
Wade's
was
Kieran.
the one that said he was just doing boxing.
He was doing some training.
doing some
for-
boxing training. I said,
something.
"What do you got?" It was 4 a.m. We were fucking shit faced.
It was Pablo's Bucks weekend.
And we're in the kitchen, and I was like, "Just lay one on me, Wade. Just lay one on me. I want to see, how hard you've been training, And he's like, "Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't want to hurt your side, Daddy." I'm like, "Oh, it's all good, man. Like, let's just have a little scuffle. It's fine. Let's rock it." And then, oh. Mate, he can punch. He can lay one on you.
It's already a
Where did
weapon.
he hit you in the fucking snout?
They had a full-on
in the
little
lip.
bit.
In the lip and the
He
collarbone.
punched you in the face
Oh yeah, I punched him in the face first.
first. Ah, right. That's
He
why he punched
started
you
it.
out.
Yeah, I think you would
Okay.
have to do that to get Wade to
No.
arc up. And
Also-
There's a
No,
great
Wade
photo
was
of
in
it.
fine
There's a
form,
great
as
photo.
were we all.
But anyway,
Shout out to Wade Kieran.
Yeah, shout out to
love
Wade.
it. I love
Yeah,
New
shout out
father.
to Wade.
Can I roll?
New
Siggy?
father, new
Yeah.
father.
So you guys met, and then you got kicked. But you got kicked out. Did you get kicked out
or
of
you
fucking
just
Stoner
left?
I think you
school,
left.
or
Kicked
you
out?
just
No, I just left. I left and
You're 11? You're 10?
no, year 10. Yeah,
I left before year 9. I left school
Right.
before
What's
year
that?
9.
Like
And-
15, 16?
and look at you go.
Yeah. I think schooling is for kids for normal kids, and if you can't handle schooling, you should leave.
Absolutely.
And you should learn. Yeah, I'm not saying that you should stop learning, but I just
There's
think
other
that
ways
there is
to
a
learn.
problem with the idea that every child has the ability to learn what they prescribe in a curriculum between the ages of 5 and 18. I just think it's really it's literally there's a prescription that every child does this. That's what schooling is. It's like illegal to not send your child to school. That's an insanity. Like to say, because we don't behave like that in any other area of the world. If I say I'm an extrovert and I like to do this and I don't like to do this, and an introvert says I don't, we don't force them after 18 to do certain things. But at school, it's like literally you have to do these things. And I think it's I think it's a backwards way of thinking. But at the time when I left, all I could think about was the fact I didn't want to get bullied anymore.
Yeah, right.
And I wasn't learning anything, and I left school, and I have never stopped learning. I
Yep.
went back to university 3 times. You know, like I did an entrance to go to university twice, because the first time I did it, I thought I just needed to do it, and then I never went to uni. Then I did it a second time because I was like, I'm ready to go to uni, and then I went to uni, and I dropped out of university.
Yeah, right.
I'd never finished a fucking degree in anything, but I've never.
But you had
stopped
to
learning.
drive, Jake, and look at
Still got to drive.
Yeah,
to
you've got to
learn.
drive, and
Still gotta
look how
drive
much
to
you've
learn.
I did that
actually
too,
learned.
though.
You know,
I went to uni because I thought you meant to.
Yeah.
but it's
All it
kind
landed me was a fucking debt.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
go to much. So, like, I went to university as well, and I
Did you complete yours?
I scraped through, like, and I had to change degree like 2 or 3 times because I just. So in the structure I went to with the university in Scotland, it was.
This is a snapshot about our relationship. We've been best friends for 10 years, over 10 years, and I don't know if what his degree's in.
Always learning.
you're moving
Jake.
forward.
Always learning.
No, honestly, because it's just never. It's not the most
Well, the
uninteresting thing.
Yeah,
it
like,
is.
I think it's a part of our life that we both like. I kind of hated it. Like for me, like you said, Tom's like you go because you kind of have to, but also because I grew up in a town of like 2,500 people, and it was about getting the fuck out of there.
See, that's
so
different.
I went to university in Edinburgh, and I like that life from that I stayed in Edinburgh for 10 years at that point, but from the like moving there when I was 18, and the people that I met, and specifically within hospitality, and I'm talking about the people and the history that they'd had, was like such a fucking learning curve. Like I didn't give a fuck about like university was so boring. Like I sat there and I'm interested in things. I'm interested in economics. I'm interested in marketing. I'm interested in accounts. I'm interested in most things in life. But when you have to sit there in front of a boring fucking person saying they're like, I'm going to provide you information for 4 hours a week, and then I'm going to provide you questions at the end of it, and you got to answer them. Like there was no worth of it to me. I didn't see the point. I never went.
There is no point.
I had like 12 hours of class a week, and you're supposed to go all the study on top, which should be 40 hours, like a full-time job. I went to like 3 hours a week, which was the bare minimum. And that's all I ever did.
But it's missing the point of what
hated it.
education really is.
Well, it was fucking boring. And I had one lecturer
Because
who
the
really struck
point
the
of it's
chord,
meant to be to
who was
learn.
really fun. He was funny. He was a marketing person, and he was like, he waltzed into the lecture theatre singing this song, and he was
What was
straight.
the song?
Oh fuck, I can't remember. I think it was like one of those like
Kenny
World War-
Rogers.
Like no, it was like a World War II theme tune, like the Spitfire fucking coming in or something. And all he spoke about was just like, I think he just said shit like everything you've learned before you came here today was fucking bullshit.
It's probably We Are the Road
Like-
Crew.
Did he really do that? Yeah, and he was straight up. He was like, and this is what life is. if you're like, you can study, you can do this shit. If you want to earn more money, say that you're strategic, because they'll give you more money for that. But if you care about what you want to do, then think about this. He's like, these are all directions you can take. Think about these directions.
Yeah, fair dinkum.
Like,
Well, you're giving me an education in itself just from what I didn't do. And now I've just done it in 5 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I don't have the debts.
$40,000.
Yeah, right. You funny.
Education, university degrees are free in Scotland, so I never pay a fucking penny.
that's good. Yeah, well,
So it's like, but therefore people don't value it.
Are they still?
Oh, yeah, they are. So when I went, they introduced a £1,000 a term fee.
Wow.
And everyone fucking kicked off, and it was my first year, and they got removed. But for that reason, people don't value it. You know what I mean? Like the same way, like.
They sort of take the mickey and say, oh, well, this is a free ride for the next couple of years.
But
like,
you know what's an interesting statement about that is they don't value it. There's such a fundamental tie between the fact that free education, like we had free university education in the United States and in Australia. And when they started fucking really pumping up the fees, like the end game of study changed. We became a number, not a resource. There was a time where students were the great resource of education, because you would teach people, and then those younger people would better you. They had more vibrancy, they had more verve. They were younger. They'd been exposed to the things that you'd unearthed, and then they would build upon it. Now it's literally turn up, pay your fees, get your degree, and go get a fucking job, or hope to get a job. Whereas that was like in those golden years, if I could call them that, of education, there was the idea of free education and free university, like tertiary education, was around building a base from which the country could build from. And now the country is trying to take fucking money from those people, as opposed to it's flipped on its fucking head completely. Like the base point was, we are going to build something for the future by investing in our young people, and now it's, we are going to take from the young people to invest in our now. And it's fucking craziness as far as I'm concerned. But it stems back to the fact that, you left school, I left school, and the fact that Steiner education even exists.
Yeah, which was an amazing education. And it was great. I mean, the woodwork classes, the campus, like it was a beautiful place to go to school, and not many people can afford it. I can't send my daughter there. I can afford it, but we were lucky because Mum was a teacher there, so
right.
We got some special deals.
That's great.
But for me, once I got to that age where
I feel like every teacher in the world should be able to send their kids wherever the fuck they want.
Absolutely,
Yeah, totally.
I mean, the public school's going great for my daughter now, and she's killing it, and she's
We're
finding
lucky
so
in
many
Australia.
things that she's at 12 years old now, and she's an amazing dancer. She's doing all these stuff. It's really great to watch something that, I don't know, her enjoying it, you know what I mean, to when I was that age. And
She's
I was
12? How old are you?
I'm 29 now, yeah. I had her when I was 17.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that like?
For me...
That's heavy. We had our first kids in our early 30s.
Oh, well, I think at any age...
You've got an older child by 5 years than me, and I'm... How old did you say you are?
29 now,
I'm 10 years old, 9 years older than you.
Well, at any age, it's just an experience.
yeah.
It's a big experience. Like for me, 17, I was a baby having a baby. I was very... it was a big shock, but, I wouldn't change a thing. When I'm 35, she'll be 18. We're going to travel the world together. And
yeah,
That's pretty
I remember my dad always saying that.
That's amazing.
My dad just played drum. He was never in a great band or any of that degree. Very smart man, but he had to sell all his gear to get married. He's like, when they wanted to get married, they'd sell all the shit. And it's like, I remember he once said to me, he's like, you always wait to there's always a better time for something. It's like, you wait for this, you wait for that. It's like, it never changes. Like you change the momentum, or you change the positioning in your head. It doesn't fucking matter. You just make it work.
you make it work. That's correct. Yeah, like...
Are you still with your daughter's mother?
No, we're great friends. So she's an amazing woman. No, I couldn't have had a child with a better woman.
Were you guys together through that initial period? Or?
Through the
I
pregnancy.
still remember the rehearsal.
When
Oh,
I
really?
came
When
in
Si
and
came
dropped
in and was like,
I'm
"Hey,
about to be a
boys."
father.
About to be a dad.
Yeah.
17. How old were you, Tom? You 17 too?
I'm a year older.
Okay.
So he was 18, yeah.
The wise old 18-year-old
The old man.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, it was kind of great that
Boys.
we still could play. Like me and Soph just decided that you know we were too young to sort of. We still needed
Know
to
that you're gonna be
see our lives and
Yeah.
work our own lives out and do
Yeah.
our own things.
Wow.
And our relationship now as separated parents is a classic modern but beautiful relationship. You
beautiful,
know,
yeah.
I tell you, there is. I would say that it is an absolute aspiration for any family to wind up in a situation of separation that is hallmarked as a thing of beauty by 17, 18, 19-year-old people as being the fucking we don't ascribe enough to the wisdom of young people, to the intuition of young people, because that's a remarkable thing you're describing. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I'm 38. I think 37, 38. I don't never remember. I'm 30. How am I? 37. I'm 37 right now.
The hard questions.
But yeah, no, I can never fucking.
it's all right.
I get to this point in this year, and every time I look forward, I'm like,
just
yeah,
jump
I'm
ahead,
38,
yeah.
and I always jump ahead.
I used to always jump ahead because I wanted to be older.
Yeah, I don't want to be older, but I just do it. But at 37, I could not ascribe myself that depth of wisdom at any age, past and present, to come close to that. How, like, what was that? Sorry to get off the music and get personal here, but what was that like? Because that's pretty immense to me.
Becoming a father?
Becoming a father
young
at such a
father.
young age, but also the way you've navigated it with such. I'm sure it has not been all plain sailing, but how you guys have navigated that. Like, how did you do it?
I think maturity sort of grows like anything, like a child and yourselves. When we first split, I had this whole ideal about, you know, a family has to stick together through, you know, hard times and whatnot. But the way that it navigated itself really was in such a positive, beautiful way that it worked out for everyone. And well,
What do you prescribe that to, though? Like, what are the things? What are the things you guys stuck to as a separated couple, as a combined parental but separated unit? What were the things that really drove the positivity?
That's a hard thing to describe.
that's a hard
Sorry,
thing to describe,
if you don't have an
Jakey.
answer,
I guess, you know,
That's
to be loyal to yourself and be loyal to what you're about and the way that you want to raise your child, especially in this world. I mean, Sophie's the mother of my daughter. She's you know, very well educated, always got this drive, and I've got this drive to do this rock and roll thing, and she's never taken that away from me. I've never had to be anything that I wasn't, but the way that we've both raised Genevieve to this point is that to just be who you are, and she's just picking little bits up from my side of the life and Sophie's side of life that's growing her into such a beautiful and amazing young woman. So, you know,
That's
it's
so beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I honestly, I've talked to you over the last few years in parts about I was aware of small moments of your history as a human, but I think that talking about in any sort of detail really brings out to me such an incredible level of beauty and self-awareness that is maybe in the moment may not have been so easily defined, but mate, I'm awestruck by someone's ability to be so present with themselves and their partner and their child, and be so selfless to actually, for both of you, for Sophie and yourself, to deal with life at this level. I'm really blown away.
thank you.
Yeah, that's a comment, not a question. That's really, really amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's fucking.
Well, you
beautiful.
amaze me too.
I'm sure I do. But it really is. But I think the main, if I could pick one thing out of it, it's a mutual respect.
Yeah.
Like it's and a proper respect. It's not like a fucking a verbal like, yeah, I respect you. It's like there's a fundamental respect to humanity and each other's fucking individuality, which is really rare, I think.
It is rare, but I think it's important for a lot of people to do that, and it's actually not as hard as people think. Is to respect people's how do you say the word, Bong?
Individuality.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's a bit of a tongue twister for me.
I'm here.
Yeah, I like to keep it simple, and then when I try to pull out the big guns, I really fuck up.
But you know what?
I'm the dictionary.
The crazy fucking thing. You may
No
not,
school.
yeah. You may not be able to fucking get the syllables fucking in the same thing, but you understand it in a depth of fucking reality that most people will never get to.
Yeah.
That's a fucking
But
truth.
it's, but I'm sure like looking back, that's a culmination of years of ups and downs.
Yeah. Yep.
Like
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
it's beautiful to define it as that, but there's probably a lot of hardship and learning about yourself and each other, and learning about how much of a fucking dick you can be yourself.
Oh yeah.
And like you.
I remember probably
most mornings.
Probably those first
in the shower.
5 years.
Oh God.
the fucking moments you're like, she's like, yeah, everyone's right. I'm like,
The
like,
flashbacks.
Yeah, they're right. She is right. He is right. Like I'm a dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little
No. Well.
moments of just sort of like self-realization and understanding moments of your, call it weakness, or just when you've been a fucking cunt to people.
Yep. Yeah.
And moving past that,
Well,
and acknowledging it to the people you've done it to.
That's an everyday thing, though. That's an everyday thing that we're always learning. You can be a gentleman and a beautiful person 1 minute, and you can be a cunt sometimes, but that's fine. That's being a human.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just reflect back and just say, okay, well, that's the way I dealt with that situation that time, and if it is to reoccur, maybe I'll try this.
Yeah.
See,
But it's always learning, isn't it?
I
you
wrestle
sort it
with
out.
I wrestle with that really hard. Like I really I choose shit over.
Oh yeah.
When I've made
you
a
gnaw
problem,
on specific things. I think. Yeah.
I gnaw on it, and it's a response from my childhood, and I really hold on to things and I blow them out, and I do that for a whole manner of different reasons: self-protection and control, and but a lot of it's is so deeply internalized that I don't even realize it's been. I started seeing a therapist about 2 years ago, and the degree to which I was unaware of what I internalize and then therefore externalize and make my reality. It's conversations that are happening, I think are happening out there, but they're all happening just here.
Yes.
It's such a fucking crazy thing. I've always felt so jealous of people who can be so present. And it's taken me a lot of years and a lot of effort to try to get and drill down into the present, which is something that I think that
being in the present is so rare. I think there's people that don't acknowledge.
Some people do it naturally.
No, and I think it's very rare. I think there's people that think they have very little, like, zero harsh reality, zero like infliction on people. So therefore, they just meander through life, thinking that there's we have no impact, zero impact, and therefore I don't have to really think about myself. Like we just go on being a person that was expected to be. Self-reflection in that in an intense way in what you're talking about is fucking rare. And people who do what you said in terms of who live in the moment naturally is even rarer.
Oh, it's so
it barely exists.
So rare.
Well, most of the time they're high when they're
Yeah,
there.
fuck, man. Yeah.
Well, we're just talking to the guys from Total Unicorn about the role of drugs in
Yeah.
actually getting to a place that's kind of like that.
Yep.
You've spoken about your love of alcohol, and women. But
Don't want to glorify it, everyone, but yes, sir.
I'll fucking glorify it. No, please glorify away. No, it's not an AA conversation.
No.
But what brought you guys? What brought you to this point? Like what role does music and your band play in actually facilitating these things? Like where does it prop up?
Where does what pop up?
Where does the role of
facilitate
creativity and where does the role of creativity and creating a music and art? What role does that play in expressing where you're at and you're being in the moment?
And is that change? I suppose it's changed over time. Like it's
Well, I guess with the role of being a Papa Pilko, for example, I think I've struggled with that through certain times, especially, there was that period in our early 20s where I kind of had that battle of creating the alter...
The character.
The character as Papa Pilko. I wasn't Cyrus Pilko anymore. I was Papa Pilko. And when I was on stage, that was where I felt like I had to drink. I had to be this wild.
Something.
I became, my alter ego, which is important to have, especially when as a performer. I think it's great to create a character. Yeah. But Papa Pilko is always Cyrus Pilko. But when I'm on stage or something like that, especially from feedback of other people, he's like, "Oh, we're going to go and watch Papa Pilko. He's that wild guy that gets real drunk on stage and he's loose." And I really battled with that. And that's when my drinking kind of got to a point where I felt that's what I had to do to perform as Papa Pilko.
But when you strip it away.
And when I stripped it away, I said, no, I don't. But that was something that I dealt with through, my early 20s and got quite negative about it because I was like, am I anyone without that kind of boozy character that I've created, and do I need booze to be that person or whatever? I'm not saying that, I struggle with alcohol or whatever, but it was trying to understand who that alter ego was.
Sometimes I think alcohol or any drug plays a role in exposing things that are uncomfortable. And there's an element, like you're right, like there is Cyrus Pilko, but there is Papa Pilko, and it's absolutely okay that both of them exist at the same time. It's like at the same time, at the same moment, in the same conversations, that it's okay to be speaking as one and feeling like the other. Like it's an uncomfortable idea that you can be two things at the one time.
It is.
But the reality is that's the truth for most people on a day-to-day basis. They just don't know how to fucking deal with it. You have found a fucking beautiful creative outlet for one side of you, and then you're able to hold on to another side. That seems like sanity to me.
Yeah. Well, I tied them both together. Probably about 25, 26. That's when I realised I don't need to separate them because it's not. I'm not a two-sided person.
A therapist calls this integration.
Yeah, I can tie the lasers
Education.
there, and I can be, Cyrus Pilko and Papa Pilko at the same fucking time.
And as long as
and it worked for me, and it's working, and that is when I felt like I was more of a positive person towards myself.
Yes.
And all I created in my mind was, oh, do I really need this? Like, I'm a split person. And I wasn't. I never really was.
It never was.
It was just something that was created.
I wanted to ask you, so I don't know if you ever... We've got to wrap up soon.
Oh, yeah.
And this is fairly...
Fuck, I'm so sick of you cunts coming and tell me that we can't fucking talk anymore. Get the fuck up.
It's a fairly big question to sort of like lead into the end of, and it's have you performed or spent any time sober and so to disconnect yourself entirely from it? Because we had a couple of conversations with friends of like musician friends of ours who go through like periods of the like debauchery and periods of sobriety, like long periods, like 9-12 months, and in those times they very much realize that. Fuck! I never had to do any of that, and that's like the biggest departure.
Yeah.
And so have you ever had a like? And let me preface this by saying, I kind of drink for the same reason. Like, you know, when things expect of you, I have a social anxiety with like, just drink a few things.
It loosens
drink,
up the gears.
So it's
Yeah,
like, so I've-
definitely does.
the longest I've ever not drank for, it's 50 days.
Yep.
When I was like 26 or something.
Yeah, well.
And I broke out at a friend's wedding.
How horrible.
Yeah, fuck. And it's why, and I enjoyed it. So I don't know. Is there anything you've ever experienced, or like, or have you ever spoken to anyone that's
I've
spoken to
actually
you
done
about
a
that?
show here, sober, during
really?
a Dry July.
Sick.
That was the first show I've
So
done.
it's fucking. You know you can
I was here
do
for
it.
that show.
Yeah.
It was magic.
It
Well,
was
I
fucking
rocked
good.
up. I rocked up 5 minutes before I played because I knew that I couldn't be in the pub, and around people drinking.
I spoke to you that night.
And I came in 5 minutes before we went on stage, and yeah,
Selection.
the whole routine changed for me at home, getting ready and stuff. Like, I really had to psych myself up in a different way. I had to use different tools. You know, I wouldn't recommend it for the people that love drinking and performing because it was hard work. But yeah, it can be done, and supposedly people said it was a great show.
But you knew where you needed to be, not just for the fans, but for yourself.
Yeah, that's correct.
And you fucking found different ways to get yourself there.
Yeah,
because you knew that was where it was.
I
Not
did.
just what was required of you for them, but what was required of you for yourself.
Yeah,
and you got there.
I did, and that was the first show that I'd done, and without a drink, because I do remember the first show that I did at school. I actually snuck out a couple of tinnies from the fridge, and I put them in my school bag and quickly necked them before I jumped on stage. So that was the first show that I did without liquid
That's
courage.
incredible.
But it was a completely different routine, and you know, it's a harder routine. So.
But there's
You know,
probably a
I'm
moment
not-
in that show where you felt the same. I'm sure. Like,
Oh yeah, music makes me feel something that alcohol and drugs can't.
Can't even equate.
I remember when
it
he got
is.
off stage. It was pretty funny.
Yeah,
People were trying to talk to you and buy merch and stuff, and you were just like, "What do I do?"
I've got to go. I
gotta go.
I need to go home and make myself an Earl Grey.
Slice of lemon, no milky beast.
This is again been one of the greatest chats. We got to set all the batteries die on these things. We get
Yep.
the 5 minutes. You boys are going to play a few songs now.
Play some tunes.
But thank you so much. That was a really beautiful, insightful moment
Yeah.
of Papa Pilko and the Binrats.
I feel like
And thank you
I've.
so much.
I feel great that
Free
we had that
therapy.
chat
What a
together.
cleansing thing. That was
Yeah.
fucking cool. And
I
now
love
go
you
and
guys.
now go and do what
I
you
love
do on
you.
stage and
I
fucking
love you,
tear
Jack.
it up.
Thank you, boys.
Tear it up. Huh?
Love yous.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Coffin,
Yes.
who played here just recently. I watched that.
The first
I
Empty
watched
Room
that
sessions.
empty room session, and my God, those boys, they
doing
they
something.
really
Love
can
yous,
kill
Coffin.
it. So shout out to Coffin, and shout out to everyone who's
Shout out to the boys.
To the
Shout
boys.
out to Planet.
yeah, and everyone be
Shout out
safe.
to
and
Caitlin Harnett
Caitlin Harnett, yep.
and everyone still to come.
Yet to be announced. We've got them all. We've got them on record.
We got 'em
I
all.
don't want to give all the shout outs away too quick, but
That would have all been announced. by now.
yeah, we thought you'd get that over and done with.
Spoiler alert.
All
Thanks,
right,
guys.
rock and roll.
Thank
Love
you
yous.
so much.
Love you too. All the best. Mwah.